welcome to another episode. And in today's one we have a new 992 Porsche 911 Carrera 4S. And if you came here to hear negative things about this car, I have to disappoint you because I only have one, and this is the starting price. It's a bit salty. It starts at 130,000 euro base price, and knowing the Porsche configurator, it can easily go up to 150,000 and more if you're not careful with some options on it. But is it worth it if you can afford it? Yes, yes, and yes. But before we start this review, please consider subscribing to our channel, because the more subs we get, the more awesome and amazing cars like this one we can film and show you some good content. Thank you so much, and now let's crack on with the review. And let's start off with the design of this beautiful Porsche 9. In a typical Porsche fashion, you have plenty of different models to choose from. This current one is the 992 Porsche 911 Carrera 4S, which comes with a 450 horsepower twin-turbo flat 6, and it is good enough to sprint, according to Porsche, to 3.6 seconds. But I reckon it is probably quicker than that, because we all know Porsche and how good they make their cars. In the front, the clear lines define that timeless design of the Porsche 911, and you get these super high-tech new matrix LED headlamps, which complements to that extremely nice look. Nobody will ever mistaken a proper Porsche 911, and in this new generation, in the 992, it looks better than ever. They've done completely great job with it. At the rear, the whole evolutionary rather than revolutionary design continues with this super amazing and brand new for the 992 LED strip LED bar, and it just makes the car look super nice. Another new thing is the wider track that all models now get as standard, and with these tires get that really me look when you see the car on the street. And on the side, the crisp lines continue for that amazing look. Now in the new generation, you get a standard 21-inch alloys at the rear and 20s in the front, and a new feature which I really like, and it helps improve aerodynamics and just the overall looks, are the pop-up door handles, which at any time you can just go and unlock the car with them. Sitting in the interior of the new 992 Porsche 911 Carrera 4S feels extremely plush, and you can see it in this super amazing spec with red leather everywhere. You get this extremely amazing steering wheel with a floating button design, which makes it modern and very upmarket. And if you continue, you get this beautiful clock from the Sport Chrono Pack. Makes again a very traditional and Porsche look. You get this horizontal line, which is a tribute to the older generation's 911, and the infotainment system works super well. It is very responsive, very bright, and in general super nice to use. Maybe a little downside of it would be potentially that some of the menus that you need to use are hidden, so while driving might be a bit of a faff. However, for the most cases it is awesome, and you get the climate control as a separate option, so you can use it and adjust it anytime you want. The gear lever, well, a little bit controversial thing as well, but I don't mind it. I like it. You can always use it with your fingers and do really nice movements with it. And sometime in the near future, you'll be expecting to get a manual version of the 911. So if that's an issue for you, you can always spec it with a manual. Continuing with the rear, well, you have rear seats like most of the other cars don't from the sport cars category, but they're pretty useless. And the good thing about them, you can always fold them and use them for your luggage. So at the end, it is a very practical car for everyday usability. And a new thing is that integrated key. So you have the separate one and the one that is now used for the start and ignition. You cannot remove it. It is just there, and it is again a tribute to the older gen models. Super nice thing that I always loved about Porsches is the way their keys are shaped, and this is into the car's form. Super nice, and we should see that more often. All in all, great interior, great exterior, and great car that you cannot complain about. And here we come, driving the 992 Porsche 911 Carrera 4S. And it is just amazing as every single other thing that we did today. Let's talk about stats first. We are having that twin turbo flat 6 in the new generation that puts out 450 horsepower, and it is just good enough to do with the Sport Chrono package, 3.4 seconds. And I reckon it is going to do it a bit faster because we all know Porsche's horsepower figures are a bit more on the conservative side. It's a crazy car and you can feel it. But let's talk about sensitive thing first. In the daily aspect, you drive it now in comfort, you can select it from the drive selector. It is super comfortable. You don't even, to be honest with you, need the lift system, and it is perfect in terms of all the daily drive usability you'd ever need. In a typical Porsche fashion, you know very well, there's many options to spec to make that car better, and that's even in the driving dynamics compartment. You can get the Sport Chrono package, which is an added option, the adjusted suspension, sports exhaust, and many more, like the rear wheel steering and a lift system, which you just mentioned. So it's quite easy to get the list bumped up in terms of price. And by twisting the drive mode selector button, you have wet, normal, sport and sport plus. Sport plus is the maximum angle of attack, so it turns off all the pops and bangs. And in sport you get that sweet spot and balance. You get a little bit of pops and bangs from the exhaust. And it is extremely nice. It still gets all the safety features to keep you on the road, and it's a Porsche, so very well manufactured and designed machine. In sport, you can feel immediately the car and its behavior changes, and it's now the typical and extremely nice to drive Porsche. You get that heavy steering, the dampers are very comfortable. You can always change in between sport and comfort, but in all modes they are really good. The weight of the car has slightly increased and now it's up to 1565 kilograms, but this is normal and you don't feel it whatsoever. The car is very agile and nimble, and in combination with that 8-speed PDK gearbox and this twin turbo flat 6 is a joy to drive.